Hey guys, welcome to this quick tutorial video. This is LastDayZ ModZ. I wanted to do a quick tutorial to kind of help you learn how to validate your files when you're modding or making changes to any of your XML files. How to run it through a quick validator to make sure there are no errors before you actually load it back into your server. As some of you may have discovered, sometimes even the smallest, most minor seeming error can wreak havoc on your server. For instance, if you've ever tried to mod your types.xml file and made a slight error, you probably found out real quick that if there's an error in that file, zero loot will spawn into your server. Absolutely none. You'll have people running around from house to house, complaining on your Discord, hey, there's no loot on my server. What's going on? I can't find anything. And so here's a quick tip that will hopefully help you nip that in the bud and stop before it gets to that. So first thing we want to do is go into our Netrado dashboard. I'm doing this on my PC. This can be done on your phone, although I highly recommend doing this from your computer. It's a lot easier to manage, but it can be done from your phone. But for the sake of this example, we're going to be using a laptop. So first thing to do is open this and then go to your file browser. And this is going to have all of your all of your XML files in there. And for this example, we are going to be using, back up. This is a Chernarus map. So if you are working with Livonia, you'll have something that looks similar to this, although instead of Chernarus, it will say Enoch. So same files, just different look. So don't be thrown off if yours says Enoch. It just means that that's the Livonia version. So we open this up. And again, for this example, we're just going to increase our M4s. Again, if you're trying to add or decrease or increase any other loot, it's the same thing, but we're just going to use that for an example here. So we're going to open the DB. First thing you want to do is back up your file. I can't stress that enough. Make sure you have a backup, especially if you have already made some mods and your server is running and performing properly as it should, the way it is now. So make sure you save a backup. Now this is a fresh, clean copy of DayZ, so this is the vanilla version, but for the sake of just showing you how to do this, you want to click this button here. This is the download button. I've already made a file here called server backup. What I do is I make two other folders in there. One is OG, that's for the original. And so we're going to save. I've already done that, as you can see, but we'll save it. We'll save it in there. And then we're going to also save a copy. I usually just copy paste, but you can also save a copy in the mods file. Now that's the one you're going to be editing. At least that's the way I do it. Just it helps me keep it separate. So let's go back in there and server backup here. Server backup, we see OG, the types one, and we'll get to this file in just a minute. The types is in there. You don't want to edit that one. That's the one you want to just leave for your backup. Again, what you can do is you just say copy. Go back here and go into mods. And I've already done this, but we'll just, for the sake of the video, we'll say paste. Yes, we want to replace it. And then put a version in mods. Now, this is the one you're going to want to make changes to. Again, you don't have to do it this way, but it just helps me keep them separate. So I like to do it this way. So we're going to go in. We're going to go down to our M4s, and to do that, it's very simple. You just press Control F. That brings up your find feature. Type in M4. That takes us down to our M4. Okay, so it's very important that you familiarize yourself with the way these files look, because any one of these pieces of punctuation, if they accidentally get deleted, it can cause big problems. It's a little piece of punctuation, but it can cause a big problem on your server. I'll show you exactly how and why in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase our M4, and for this example, we'll just be doubling them. So we're going to go from 8 to 16. So this is the nominal. So we'll explain that in other videos, but nominal is essentially the maximum amount of the item that can be on the map at any given time. and then the minimum is the minimum amount. So we'll double that to 10. Now we know this is actually right. There's no, we've done all of our punctuation right, but let's just say in doing that, when we typed in 10, we actually went one over, and now you can see we've actually captured that punctuation piece, and we wrote 10. And in doing that, we accidentally deleted that piece of punctuation. We didn't think twice about it. We didn't even notice we did it. We saved it, and then if we load that into our server as is, it is going to cause major problems. You will have no loot spawning on your server, no matter how many buildings you run into, no matter how many, oh, this place always has M4s. You can go in there and there will be absolutely no loot. Okay, so how do you fix it? Well, what I do before I ever load it back into my server is I go to this website. It's called XML Validation. So we've already added a couple. XML Validation, I'll put a link for this in the description. We're going to choose a file. We're going to go, we'll go server backup. We're going to go to mods. That's the one that we're editing. And we're going to go to types. Okay, that's the one where we just purposely made an error. And here's what happens when we click validate. Watch, it's going to show us what area that error is. Okay, so we see here an error has been found. And now, oh my goodness, where in the world is that error? Well, here's a quicker way to find it. If you just click on this, it actually skips you right down to it. Now we know the error is up here because we purposely did it. Why is it showing down here is the problem? Well, these lines here with these pieces of punctuation, I'm sure there's a name for them, but it's slipping my mind. But essentially what this is doing is it's opening a command for the game. It's telling the game, read from here to here. Whatever is in between these lines, read there. Now we're missing one up here. So essentially it opens here and it never closes until down here. And so that's why our error is showing up here. Okay. So if we want to fix this, we go back into our types.xml file. And again, this is why it's important to familiarize yourself with these entries. Now, each of these entries is going to have the same basic information. So if we skip up here to M18 smoke grenade, it's a different title, but we see nominal. It's got that piece of punctuation and the ending here, or excuse me, the beginning. And then lifetime. So it's basically all the same. Now, we'll cover it in another video, but these categories and usage names, those are used for something different. But all of these are going to have the same punctuation points. So if you're seeing an error and you can't figure it out, just look at the item up above it and see. And if you look at right here where the nominal is, or excuse me, we made it in the minimum, you'll see, something looks different about these two. Oh, okay, that's what I'm missing is this little piece right there, because that's missing from here. Okay, so that's how you find where your error is. So just kind of use the line up above it as a comparison, and it may take you a couple minutes to find it, but this is a lot faster than redoing your whole modding process. Okay, so now we know where the error is. We're going to go back into that types.xml file. We're in mods, and we're going to go into types.xml. We know it's down M4. Okay, M4 is already selected. We're going to go back in there, and we know where our error is. It's right here. We're going to add that piece of punctuation back in. Here we go. Now we're going to save it. We're going to go back to our website, and you need to use your back arrows here, and you go back again until you get to this screen where it's asking you to choose a file. Choose a file again and select the same file. And again, make sure you save it after you've made the correction. Otherwise, you're going to get the same error again. So open that file. And now we click validate again. And if we corrected our punctuation, we are going to get this all important screen here. If the computer would catch up right here. This is what we're looking for. No errors were found. Now you know you're safe to load that into your server. and your mod will take effect. It's going to do what you asked it to do, and you're not going to have any errors on your server. I highly recommend doing this with every XML file that you modify. If you're going to do any other changes, if you're going to modify other ones, if you're going to add loot to the trunk of your cars, if you're going to do any of that, any of those type of mods, run it through this XML validator first. It will save you a lot of time and headaches. Now, real quick before we close the video out, I want to show you one exception, and that's this file here. You see we downloaded this, the CFG spawnable types. Okay, go to the OG. Now this is a vanilla version here, and again, if you don't know how to find that, you just simply go into your Nitrado. It's going to be in this opening screen here, CFG spawnable types. Right there it is. And you'll just click download that into your OG file, make a copy of it, and put it into the mods section. Now, this is a fresh, untouched copy of that file, but look what happens when we run it through the validator. Watch this. This is going to save you a lot of headache, because this file is used for a lot of mods that people use, and so this will hopefully help you. So, oh, wait a minute. I think I've already. Just a moment. I think I've already corrected that. Let me. Yep, that's backup. So let's go to the OG. Open, and then if we click validate. So again, this is the untouched version, how it comes with the game, and look at that, we're getting an error. Why? We haven't even modified anything. What in the world is wrong? You see here it says the string hyphen hyphen is not permitted within comments. Well, what are they talking about? Let's skip down here and see. Now you see this here, these items here, army with all of these hyphens. Now, basically what these commands right here do is they're telling the game, don't read anything in between these commands. So this, all of this information right here is, you could delete this entire line and it would not affect your game. So it's basically telling it, skip over this, don't even read this. So the reality is we don't even need all these hyphens. So what you do, and I always do this first thing when I install a new server, is I go into that CFG spawnable types and I delete them all. So we'll open it up, scroll down here until we get to that area. There it is, army, city, so all the different types of zombies, they have them. So you're going to go through and you're going to just highlight all of those and you're going to delete them. I've already done that, so I'll show you what that looks like when it's done in the mods. And it's just to save time. So you go through. Yep. There we go. All right, so army. So see, all I did was I deleted all those hyphens, and it doesn't change anything in the game file, but it allows you to now add mods and then validate it, because look what happens when we run this one in the mods through the validator. Watch. So now we're going to run our modded version, where all we did, the only change we made was we deleted all those hyphens that don't even need to be there. And now look at that, no errors were found. So this is going to help you a lot. So now when you add changes, for instance, in another video, we're going to cover how to spawn in cars full with loot in the trunk, things like that. So then when you're done making those changes, you're going to be able to run it through this validator, and you're going to be able to check to see if you made errors before you load it into your server. There is one other file that we edit. I'm not going to go through the whole process, but this file down here, map group proto, that also has it has Enoch specific buildings at the bottom, and it's also got those rows of hyphens. So you want to, if you're ever going to modify that file, we will be releasing a video here shortly showing what that file does. you want to go in and delete all those hyphens just like you did in spawnable types, and that way you can click validate. Anyway, I hope this has helped you. We'll put a link in the description to our Discord. You can join us on there and ask any questions, or if you'd like us to handle the mods for you, we're happy to do that. And then also please click subscribe and click the bell for future notifications. I hope this helps, and have a great rest of your day.